tricks on how to get your crush to actually like you back. If you act super excited every time you see somebody, they're eventually going to be really excited to see you back and not even know why. You could also take this the next step further and figure out your crush's favorite type of candy, and then give them that candy every time you see them. If you do this enough, eventually, even after you stop giving them candy, they're still going to have that subconscious reaction to be very happy to see you. You need to show subtle signs that you're interested in this person, be able to spark an interest back in you. So like if there's a dance or a party or something and they ask you, oh, hey, are you going? Say something along the lines of like, oh, only if you're going. It's going to show that you like being around them, and it's definitely going to bubble up some questions within themselves. This one might come off as obvious, but just like, be you. Don't try to be somebody that you think your crush might like, because it's going to come off as way more genuine if you just let your personality shine through rather than trying to act like somebody you're not. Besides, your personality is what's going to make you likable, and those little quirks that you have are usually what somebody likes the most about you. Welcome to part 10 of psychology tricks that I know work because I use them. Did you know that colors affect your mood a lot? Cool colors like blue, green, and purple can make you feel more relaxed and slow you down a bit, but warm colors like red, orange, and yellow can make you feel more aggressive and impulsive, which is really good for sports teams and why you always end up overpaying at Target for some reason. They could also make you really hungry, which is why companies like McDonald's, Wendy's, KFC, In-N-Out, Domino's all use these in their logos. If you take more note about the colors around you and how they make you feel, it's going to give you a leg up in taking control of your own emotions. Countless studies have shown that if you listen to classical music or really any music that doesn't have lyrics in it while studying, your grades will improve. Like seriously, just do it. I personally listen to lo-fi hip hop, but you can throw on some Bach or Mozart if you want to. I'm not here to judge you, man. I'm just trying to help you pass your test. So I have one more trick. I usually do 3, but I've ran out of time. So I'm going to make a part B to my part 10, so keep an eye out for that. Psychology tricks. Part 10B that I know work because I use them in my school bathroom, and we're just gonna hope that nobody walks in. Somebody walked into the bathroom, so we're going to a new one. Are you the type of person that gets that itch to buy like a brand new phone every single year, even though you know it's gonna break your bank and you have a perfectly fine working phone to begin with, but you just love the feeling of getting a new phone? Try this instead. Try replacing your phone case every once in a while, that way you get a new feel. Also, replace the screen protector every time it gets gross or dirty or cracked, because there's 2 brands. There's Zag and Armor Edge that have lifetime warranties, which means every time you want to get a new one, you can. You just have to have your receipt, and then you can go and replace it for free. I've been doing it for years, and yes, I did change bathrooms again because somebody walked in and I'm an awkward piece of shit. One last thing you can do to scratch that itch and trick your brain into thinking you got a brand new phone is actually replacing the battery every time your battery health gets past like 80%. It's $40. I'd highly recommend it. You get basically another year out of your phone. I've had this thing since junior year of high school. I'm a junior in college now. Works perfectly fine. Psychological disorders that sound way too weird to even be real, but they are. Part 2. Face blindness has always been really interesting to me, but it's hard to kind of wrap my head around. It's the idea that somebody can recognize traits of a person except for their face. Kind of like how normal humans can't distinguish between like a dog's face or like a dolphin's face, but we can distinguish and tell the difference between other humans' faces. A person with face blindness can't. We apparently all look the same to them, and they can't tell the difference based on our faces. Exploding head syndrome is an auditory hallucination disorder where people will hear like loud bangs and crashes just throughout their day. It can happen a couple times, it can happen once every while, it can happen when they're awake or when they're asleep, and it's insane because like it's just not happening in reality, but they hear it so vividly. Alien hand syndrome is a rare neurological disorder that causes involuntary hand movements, and the user is just like not aware or in control of it at all. They might reach for things or manipulate things without them wanting to, and they even have to like use their normal hand to try and restrain their alien hand. Psychology tricks on how to get your crush to actually like you back. Part 3. The best advice that I've ever gotten is to treat your crush like you would a new acquaintance. You don't meet somebody new and then immediately expect daily texts or hanging out once a week, or you don't overthink like everything you do and say around them. And this is exactly how you should treat your crush, because it's going to help you relax a little bit. It's going to show you you're not completely obsessed with this person, even if you are, and it's going to make all these other tricks a lot easier if you just don't overthink it. For the love of God, please compliment the person that you like. Genuinely compliment them. If you like a guy, they probably don't get compliments all that often. So when you do say something nice, they're going to eat it up and it's going to stick with them a lot longer. But if you like a girl, they probably get a little bit more compliments. So you have to make it stand out. Don't just say, hey, I like your shoes. Say, hey, I really like how you wear your hair down like that. It looks really good. Or like, hey, I really like the color of that shirt. It makes your eyes pop. This sounds obvious, but not everybody does it. Take the extra steps to be attractive. Work out, eat right, do your hair. Nobody's gonna fall in love with you when you're walking around Target in your PJs and flip-flops. Ways the world could end right now that we would have absolutely no control over. How fun is that? You know what's scary? Black holes. You know what's scarier? Rogue black holes. Researchers estimate there's about 10 million black holes in our galaxy right now that orbit just like any normal star. But with a normal star, if it was headed our way, we would have some sort of warning. With black holes, it's a lot harder to tell. So if one was headed our way, it'd take a couple decades, but everything we know would be swallowed whole and just completely gone. Every few 100,000 years or so, the Earth's magnetic fields disappear and then come back completely flipped. The last time this happened was 780,000 years ago, and if it happens again, the world will be thrown into chaos because GPSs just aren't going to work, and particle storms and cosmic rays are going to become a huge problem. There are about 30,000 particle accelerators on our planet right now that theoretically could be creating a bunch of subatomic black holes that are eating away at our planet as we speak, and by the time we realized it, it'd be too late. Psychological disorders that sound way too weird to even be real, but they are. Alice in Wonderland syndrome has been described as an LSD trip, but without the euphoria. People who have it say they lose sense of how big their body actually is. It'll grow and shrink to outrageous proportions. It can really screw with your head and be kind of terrifying. Mere touch synesthesia is a disorder that makes people feel like they can feel what other people are feeling. For example, if they saw somebody being hugged, they would genuinely feel like they were also being hugged. Cotard syndrome is when a person believes that they're a ghost or an actual dead person. They claim to think that their organs are rotting, they feel like they've lost a lot of blood, they won't eat, they won't sleep. It's like severe depression but on steroids, and they're always in a bad mood because they think that they're actually dead. First date tips to increase your chances of getting a second one that I know work because I use them. For the love of God, don't go to the movie theaters. No matter how good of an idea you think it is, I can promise you that it's not. You can't get to know somebody if you can't fucking talk to them. Go ice skating, go mini golfing, get coffee, go to an arcade, an amusement park, anything besides the movies. Unless you're just trying to make out, in which case I will tell you that the drive-in theater is a much better alternative. A first date is basically an advertisement of you, so fucking sell yourself. Everybody knows to dress nice, do your hair, and like throw in a mint, but talk about your biggest accomplishments, what your goals and aspirations are. I personally like somebody that has some sort of a plan or an idea of where they're going. If you're just like, I don't know, I'm just like going with the flow, you know, you're not gonna get that second date. Try not to come off as arrogant with this though, because if you notice that you're talking more than listening, you're doing it wrong. I ran out of time, but if you guys want or need a part 2, let me know. Most people get uncomfortable if their TV or radio volume aren't divisible by 2 or 5. People who speak 2 or more languages subconsciously change their entire personality when they switch from one another. Also, if you're bilingual, I got a question for you. What language do you think in? For some reason, it's really hard for our brain to just make up other human faces, so the strangers that you see in your dreams are people that you've seen in real life. Psychology tricks that I know work because I use them, part 9. To avoid procrastination, you need to be able to do the things you need to do in your head before you can do them in the physical world. And one great way to do this is to think about the thing you need to do step by step right before you go to sleep. That way when you wake up, everything's already planned out for you. You just gotta do it. If you're ever negotiating with somebody, whether it be on the price of a car you're trying to buy or the salary for your new job, or if you're just trying to figure out who does what chores, always flinch on the very first, sometimes the second offer. A flinch can be like a small wince, a sigh, or just an eye roll. It is guaranteed to get you a better deal. When you're in a conversation with somebody who will not stop talking or let you get a word in, try dropping something like your keys or a pen or something. This will interrupt them for that split second and give you a chance to say what you want to say. Psychology Tricks Part 10 is going to come soon. You might as well follow me if you want to see it. Have you ever had a song stuck in your head for like hours, maybe even days? Well, lucky for you, I'm going to tell you how to stop that shit. So the way to get a song out of your head that's been playing over and over and over again is actually quite simple. You just gotta listen to or think about the end of the song. So I know that probably sounds dumb or really obvious, but it works, and I promise that it works. And the reason that it does is because the human brain is really weird, and we tend to remember things that are incompleted way more than completed things. So if you complete the song, it's going to be way more helpful than just like listening to that catchy part over and over and over again. I really hope you remember this video when you have a song stuck in your head and you're like, wow, that was helpful.